Well, hello everybody, and thanks for joining me here at Bear's Homesteading the Desert. Today is Sunday, and it's actually, you saw on the calendar, it's called Children's Day. Some kind of a holiday. I didn't even know there was one, but that's what it says. So, hey kids, happy holiday. All right, here we are staring out into the desert past the containers because today is Sunday, and somebody said Sunday is a day of rest. So I didn't want to be different, so I took it easy today. And I think I worked today. The water tank is back in place and all hooked up with a fresh, clean sediment filter. And 250 gallons of water put back into it. All pumped up by my little transfer pump, my little Harbor Freight transfer pump. I kept coming by with my trailer with smaller barrels. I went around the compound, and all the water I had stored in larger barrels. These barrels are empty now. All the water I had stored in larger barrels, I brought up here in 3 20-gallon barrels on my little trailer, and I pumped it into the container. So now there's 500 right there, and there's empty right there, and I'm right about here. So that'll last me a couple of weeks. And I've already called and left a message for my water delivery guy that I'm ready for him at any time. Of course, I called him yesterday. So I'm going to call him again tomorrow on Monday and see if I can't catch him live, because I had to leave a message. And then I can come out and I can rewrap the insulation on all of this exposed pipe all the way right up to the tank. Because when the freezing temperatures come, if those aren't wrapped, they will crack. The ice will freeze in there, expand, and crack them. So I want to make sure that doesn't happen. And I don't know if you know it or not, but when you use one of these types of tanks, they want a flexible connection between the tank and your water line. So that's what's right there. And I had to tear it open there so that I could do this changeover and reseal everything. So I got a nice clean filter in there. It's just a sediment filter, but it wasn't that dirty to start with. So the water that John brings me up in his water truck is pretty clean, because the one I pulled out of there, just all it had was a little bit of odor to it from the plastic container. So I put a fresh, clean one in there that doesn't have any odors. But I kept the old one. I'm going to air it out in this dry desert sun and see if it actually comes back, because it was really clean. It looked like brand new. All right, so I'm all fastened back up. My unit's back in. It's all reinforced. I got plywood underneath the bottom of it all the way around, and I used ring shank nails to nail it all together to make sure that there's no problem with that ever giving again. And like I said, the center is a little high on this. So I made it real easy when I was sliding this thing in. As soon as I flipped it over, which I think you'd probably like to see how I did that. Remember, it was laying on the ground right here. So what I did was I brought my ATV around from that direction, come over, and I stuck the front loader bucket underneath it. And I lifted it up until I got it up to, I'd say about 4 feet on an angle. And then I started driving forward, and I was driving the ATV right underneath that big thing. And once I got right about center, it stood right up, and I stopped and locked the brakes right there. And then I went around the other side, made sure I had it fairly aligned to where I wanted it, and just gave it a little push, and it dropped right into place. And I know you're looking at that little space right there. I'm not worried about it. Everything is fastened and tight. That's just some of the damage that happened, but I had to do some work when I was changing the beams, so I got a little gap in there. But sooner or later I'm going to be putting poles all the way around this with walls on this side of it where the sun hits it all the time, with a half roof going over the top so that it's protected from the sun all day long. Because when this gets down low like it is right now, on a hot day, that water gets pretty hot in there. And the hot water in there will deteriorate the tank fast, and so will the sun. So I want to get that thing covered up on this side now that I've got the main work done. But that can wait down the line, because now that the water tank is back in and my water's back on and I've got water pressure inside the cabin, it's making me real happy. I'm going to get back in there and get the bathroom finished up, because it's starting to get a little too chilly to shower outside here. And I can still do my old sponge baths standing in a tub in the kitchen by the kitchen sink, but it sure is nice to be able to either take a bath or get in the shower once in a while. So I'm going to I'm going to set my sights on getting the bathroom done first. I can always finish the bedroom later. That's not that critical. I've got a place to sleep. I've got a place to cook and eat. So I need to have that bathroom done so that as this cold weather settles in for the winter, I can clean up after a hard day's work, or on a hard day of rest like today. That's all for today, everybody. Short video. And it was pretty chilly last night. It got down to like 43. But it was warm inside the cabin. I didn't have any problems in there. And my second propane heater, wall heater, is supposed to be here on Wednesday. So I've got to get that one half panel pulled off of the bedroom wall, get my gas piped out, get that wall completed and painted. That's part of the bathroom wall. And then I can hang that heater in there. And if the temperatures get really cold, even if I don't have a ceiling in there, I can stay warm in there. All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of this weekend, whatever's left of it. I know those of you on the East Coast, you're pretty late now. You're probably in the 7:30 range there, or even coming up on 8 o'clock or 8 p.m. And then those people that watch me from the other side of the pond, on the other side of the Atlantic, in Europe and Australia and all of that, I think they're probably even seeing tomorrow already. So happy whatever day it is to you, everybody. G Bear signing off.